How's it going, guys? Bass and Bill 96 here, and today's video is going to be day number 2 of the FLW Costa tournament on the St. Lawrence River, and it's a wild one, so buckle up and let's just jump right into it. If you guys missed the first video, I'm going to link that down below, but essentially we're fishing for $30,000. It's day number 2, and on day number 1 I had a pretty good bag, so all we really need to do day number 2 is catch like 11 pounds and we're pretty much guaranteed to check. And if I catch like 17 or 18 pounds, I will be fishing day number 3 for a chance at $30,000. And finally, one more thing right before we jump into the video. If you guys like today's video, please hit that thumbs button and consider subscribing. It really does help the channel out a lot, but let's get right into the video because like I said, this one is a wild one and I cannot wait for you guys to see what pretty much goes down this day. But I linked up with my boater first thing in the morning and he said that we're making like a 50+ mile run down to Thousand Islands, which on day 1 we never went further than the dam and we probably only ran like 17 miles or so, so nothing too crazy. Day number 2, super bundled up, super hyped to go down there and try to catch some monster smallmouth. So we make that super crazy run. It took us like over an hour. We roll up to the first spot and I'm feeling friggin' good. It looks super juicy. There's not a ton of current like there was in a lot of the main river spots that we were fishing the day before, so it's gonna be a lot easier to fish, honestly, because when you're trying to fish that heavy current, your bait gets kind of dragged around into rocks and areas that you don't really want it to be in. It's really hard to do it, especially when you're fishing from the back of the boat, because you can't really position yourself the way that you need to fish current. So being in the back of the boat, I would much rather fish a spot that doesn't really have that much current. The area that we're fishing is like 25-30 feet deep and it comes up onto a nice shallow rock flat, and he said that he's catching most of the fish in the deeper water, but he said there are some fish up in those shallows as well. So we start fishing and he's pretty much focusing on video game fishing. He's looking down at the graph and he's dropping directly on fish. I'm chucking my Ned rig up in shallow water and pretty much just, you know, blind casting off that drop too. Within 5 minutes of rolling up to the spot, he hooks up with the first fish and it's a pretty good one. Got one? Oh baby.
I'm on.
Yep.
Good job.
Nice, man. That's quick.
There ought to be.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them, and then every once in a while you'll catch a big one.
Awesome. A lot faster than yesterday. My boater puts that fish in the live well, runs back up to the front of the boat, and almost immediately sees another fish on the graph. He drops down and sticks another one. And this one's a big one. You got one? Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh yeah, oh my god. That's a nice one, man. Nice. That's the one. Get a couple of those. That's a nice one. Oh baby. Holy, yeah, that came in real quick. That's a 5-pounder. Oh, that thing didn't fight at all. That was crazy. So he puts that one in the live well, and now he has 2 fish. One's like a 5-pounder and one's like a 2.5-pounder or so. So he's got one really big fish, one okay one, and we're only like 10 minutes into fishing at this point. So I'm scratching my head. He's dropping down on all these fish. He's seeing what he's doing, and I'm pretty much in the dark. I'm a co-angler. He has his back raft turned off. I don't really know what exactly we're fishing. I'm chucking a Z-Man Ned rig around, just praying that a fish sees it and absolutely munches it, and nothing's happening for me. So I decided I was gonna try the Guggen Baits rattling Ned rig, which I have never thrown thus far. And my very first cast with a Guggen Bait rattling Ned rig, this is what happened. Got one. Guggen. On the Guggen rattling Ned rig.
Really?
Yeah, you ever see those Guggen Baits? Yeah. That's the first cast I've ever taken with a Guggen rattling Ned rig. I was throwing that Z-Man one for a little bit and I was like, I'll try this thing out. That little Guggen Baits. Oh my gosh. I was dragging it so slow. Oh, oh my god. Dude. Let's just freaking wreck them today. Oh, is there a, how do I get the water going in here?
Good job, man.
Thank you. I'm the freaking Guggen bait, dude. So I stuck an absolute tank of a smallmouth, my first ever cast with the Guggen Baits rattling Ned rig, and I was hyped up, guys, because if you guys have not watched day one, like I said, it's gonna be linked down below, but I had a really solid day one. I was sitting in like 31st place out of like 130 boats or something like that. I was within check range, and I knew that all I really needed to do was catch like 10 or 11 pounds, and I would be walking away with a nice little check, you know, for my effort. So with one fish, I'm already halfway there. We're like 20 minutes into the day. If I get one more giant bass or two more solid fish, I'm probably going to cash a check. Also, on top of that, if I catch a really big bag, I'm gonna be fishing day number 3 with a chance at $30,000. So we're 20 minutes in, we got a giant in the live well, my boater's got a giant in the live well, and things are looking super good. Unfortunately, right after that happened, something not so good took place. Got one. Oh, came off. Oh. So that fish did not come in the boat. I had her pinned probably for like 3 or 4 seconds. You guys saw what happened. Never got to see the fish. Don't know exactly how big it was, but all I know is we were pretty much only catching quality fish in this spot, and it felt pretty big. So I was not feeling so good at this point, but like I said, we're only like a half an hour into the day, maybe something like that, and I still felt pretty confident that I was gonna get my 5 fish and everything was gonna be completely fine. So my boater hooked up with another fish. My GoPro actually died when he was fighting it. It was like a 3-pounder or so. He's now sitting at 3 fish with like a 5-pounder, a 3-pounder, and like a 2.5-pounder, and I'm still sitting on my one big like 5.25-pound smallmouth. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but my boater had an okay day one. I think he had like 15 pounds or so, but to cash a check, he's going to need like 20 plus pounds. And as you guys can see, we are around some big fish, so it's definitely possible. So we're both super hyped up because we both have a really good shot at cashing a check. We went quite some time without getting any more bites, so I switched back over to the Z-Man Ned rig and I chucked it up on the shallow part of the flat because we weren't really getting any more bites out deep, and I figured I'd switch it up a little bit. There we go. Okay.
Got it.
2 in the boat. Not a big one. I'll take it. Yeah, that one was up there. Yeah, I cast it like up on those rocks. A little shallower. So it wasn't a big fish, but I have 2 fish in the boat now with my 5-pounder and a little squeaker, and we are one step closer to getting that $30,000. Shortly after that, my boater hooks up with another one that he saw in the graph, and it's another good one. That one. Oh boy, the boat. I don't want to. Dude, oh boy. It's on the wrong side. There you go, there you go. You got her, man. Oh, we got her. Oh, she came out of nowhere. That's a good one. That's a chunk.
That is a good one.
Nice. Woo, he scared me. Scared myself. Almost pooped my pants. That's a chunk. He now has 4 fish in the boat with 2 really big ones, like a 5 and a 4-pounder, and unfortunately, this is where the day took a turn for the absolute worst for both of us. Oh, shit. Nah, it wasn't a big one. It was okay. You get him. You'll get him. He hooked up with another fish, and he got it like 10 or 15 feet away from the boat, and this one jumped off. It was like about a 3-pounder, not a giant. Like I said, at the time, we were not too concerned. He had a couple big ones in the boat. I had a really big one in the boat, and it was early on in the day. So at this point, we both lost a fish, but we're both still feeling okay. I actually didn't get the next one on camera because my camera died or something like right before it happened, and I did not put a new battery in yet, but I hook up with another fish. It would have been fish number 3. I get it like halfway to the boat. It jumps up in the air. 3+ pound smallmouth, and she spits the Ned rig. Don't get her in the boat. So now I've lost 2 fish. I've had 4 bites, and we've went 2 for 2 with one that I didn't see that felt really big, and another one that I did see that was a pretty solid fish, especially because, like I said, I only need like 10 or 11 pounds. That fish would have almost done it single-handedly. So I'm not feeling so hot anymore. We were feeling okay. You know, we have a lot of time left, but 2 fish lost is too many. So I simmer down a little bit. I put my head down and I start fishing again. But the bad news does not stop there. Yep, big one. Please. I think. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Dude, are you freaking kidding me? Dude, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that. Oh my gosh. A freaking big one, dude. I lifted up on that fish, it was pretty much dead weight, and I felt some massive head shakes, which I've caught some really big smallmouth in St. Clair. My PB is a 6.5 pounder, and I know what big smallmouth feel like, and that one was only pinned up for about 3 seconds, maybe 4 or 5 seconds tops, but I felt those head shakes, and I literally died a little bit inside when that fish popped off. I've lost 3 fish, and I'm pretty sure they were all over 3 pounds at the very bare minimum, and I'm not feeling so hot. At this point in time, we're about halfway through the day. I still only have 2 fish in the boat with 1 little squeaker, and it just kind of crushes your soul when you lose a fish that you think may have been over 5 pounds. So I tried my best to bounce back from that, but it really just never happened for me. My boater, on the other hand, did get a couple more shots at catching his mega bag. Got one? Dude, we are having some freaking problems. What in the freaking world? Got one? Oh my gosh, where's one? Yep, I saw him. Oh my god. I thought you had that big black one that was with it. Ooh. My boater got his 5th fish in the boat, and I don't know what you guys can see on the camera, but there was some giants following that little one that he caught into the boat. So we fished around this rocky shoal for like the next 30 minutes, hour or so, but I'm pretty sure that all those fish were super spooked because we just couldn't get those fish to go. So we moved back out deep for the last hour or so. One last chance for both of us to catch a mondo bass and try to make some money in this tournament. It could have been a storybook ending after missing so many opportunities. Throughout the day, my boater finally gets another bite, and it was a big one. He's fighting this fish, and I don't know who was more nervous, him fighting the fish or me knowing that I have to net this fish and not mess it up. He gets the fish 20 feet away from the boat, and it jumps in the air. It's like a 5+ pound smallmouth, and it took one last turn. Oh, dude. She was gone, just like all the other smallmouth that we had lost that day, and we were both pretty much defeated at this point. We had lost so many fish, we had so many opportunities, and it obviously was just neither of our days. I don't know what was going on, if they weren't eating it that good and that's why a lot of them were spinning it, or what the deal was, but obviously we were not meant to cash a check in this tournament. So we headed back to the weigh-in with our heads held low, but we did decide to make one last stop, and honestly, we probably should have just left it at that and went into the weigh-in, because even more bad news followed when we stopped in this very last shallow little shoal spot. Whoa, that was not good. So we didn't rip the lower unit off, everything was fine, but pretty much just capped off the day of a terrible day of fishing, of losing so many big fish and then almost destroying my boater's boat. So we went to the weigh-in to find out how bad that we messed up.
Thanks. Good place. So right now we got a long ways to go. We imagine Joliet, Illinois, co-weigh the 13.4 on day 1. Got a couple bad ones in there. Yeah. Good job. Taking care of your fish as always. Your 2 today gonna weigh 6 pounds, 8 ounces, 1912. Your 2-day total. Thank you.
I weighed in my 2 fish for 6.5 pounds, and when the weigh-in was all said and done, I looked at the leaderboard, and pretty much just like I thought, I only needed 11 pounds to cash a check and 17 pounds or so to fish on the final day, which is super, super, super unfortunate because I'm pretty sure that I had well over that hooked up. Like I said, it's kind of the nature of smallmouth fishing. There's nothing I can really do about it. It just pretty much has to all come together. You can't lose fish like that and still expect to do good, you know? One missed fish and you still have a shot, but when you're missing multiple 3 to 5 pound smallmouth, it's not going to be a good day for you, especially when you're fishing out of the back of the boat too, because co-anglers usually don't get as many opportunities, and that's definitely how it went for me. And my boater, same story. He ended up with 16 or so pounds, and he missed the check by just 2 or 2.5 pounds, which he easily had hooked up too. So we both missed out on checks, we both missed so many smallmouth, and that's just the way that it went down. Not the best day for either of us. But that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It obviously wasn't the best day day for us, but it was still super fun to go out there and fish pretty much a professional tournament with that much money on the line. It was a really, really cool experience, and I definitely plan on doing that again in the future. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing to the channel. It definitely means a lot to me. And I post fishing videos like this on pretty much a weekly basis. So if you guys like bass fishing, tournament fishing, anything like that, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. But on that note, I will catch you guys in the next one.